Hello, welcome to Getting Started with Ancestry.com Library Edition. My name is Dale Colston, and I'm a librarian at the James Brown African American Room at the Newark Public Library. Although our doors are closed, please know that we are still here to help you. Please visit www.npl.org for more information about our services during this time. In order to use Ancestry.com remotely, you will need a valid Newark Public Library card. If you don't have a card, you can sign up for one online. If you already have a card and it has expired, you can renew online as well. Once you have your library card, please visit this page on our carousel, and then you'll be prompted to enter the first 5 digits of your library card. Once you arrive to this page, please enter the first 5 digits of your library card next to the word password. After, please press enter. This is the home page for Ancestry. If you're already familiar with this database, help yourself. If not, stay tuned for more information about how to use this great genealogy database. I'll be going over each item under the Search tab. I'll also briefly talk about message boards, Learning Center, charts and forms, and how to find what's new in their many databases. In the interest of time, I won't talk about everything, but I do hope I cover each item that will help you get a good start. This page includes just about everything they have on Ancestry.com. It's a little bit overwhelming, but again, if you're familiar with the site, help yourself to whatever category or geographic region you're interested in. This is the search screen for census and voter lists. If you want more information about what this contains, click on View Sample Images and Collection Details. This will search all unless you narrow. To the right, you'll see Narrow by Category. If you're interested in only the 1900 censuses, you can click onto that. Or if by chance you're interested in the UK census, you can click onto that as well. The most recent federal census that has been released from the National Archives is the 1940 federal census. If you'd like to search that, that's a little bit further below under Featured Data Collections. For this tutorial, I'll be using my uncle. His name was Channing Colston. So you'll see first and middle names Channing and last name Colston, and he was born in 1916. Here are the census and voter list results for Channing Colston. Ancestry located him in the 1930 and 1920 federal censuses. Please note that in the 1930 federal census, both his first and last names were misspelled. So once you click onto the 1920 United States Federal Census, you'll be brought to this page, which gives a little bit more detail about my uncle in the 1920 Federal Census. You'll see his name, his age, an approximate birth year, where he lived. That was Montclair on Portland Place. Further at the bottom, in blue, you'll see other household members. You'll see his parents. Louis Colston, that's an error. That was my Aunt Lois. That name was misspelled. Her age is 0, which means she had not yet reached her first birthday. Also, Mary and Jackson Quander shared a home with them. Further up at the top, the green button View will let you know that you can view the actual image of that page of the 1920 Federal Census. Also, if you want to send this or other documents there is an option. It's the orange button that says Send Document, and the next page will indicate how you do that. One more thing, Ancestry suggests records for you based on your search term. So under suggested records, they have other possibilities which may match up with the person that you're searching for. So if you're interested in sending this page to yourself, click on Send Document. You'll enter your email and then you'll confirm your email. Also, you might want to read the privacy statements and their terms and conditions before sending emails to yourself. So here is the image of the 1920 federal census for Channing Colston. Since he is the person that we searched, he is highlighted at the bottom in yellow, and other family members who were included on the previous screen are there in green. Vertically, on the right-hand side of each image, you have a toolbox. It's the hammer and wrench, and once you click that, it'll bring up this menu here, which would allow you to print or download, rotate the image. Also, you have a slider bar if you need to enlarge or decrease the size for better visibility. Another feature that has been built into the image page is something called Index. Under the red arrow, you'll see two silhouettes in green, and once you click onto that, the yellow will be the person that you've been researching. That will transcribe the different fields that are included in the handwritten image. Again, it's also good to read this for yourself to make sure that the transcriber has not made any errors. So here's a little bit more detail about my uncle from the 1930 federal census. And again, you'll note that his first and last names have been misspelled. By this time, he was in Virginia, and you'll note he was living with his grandparents there at the bottom under household members. And you'll see Paul E. Colston, and that was my father. And here's the image from the 1930 federal census. Again, my Uncle Channing is there in yellow. Other family members are there in green. Here is the search screen for birth, marriage, and death. Again, if you want a little bit more information about what this contains, please click on to View Sample Images and Collection Details right under the title. You'll note under Featured Data Collections, the first one listed there is U.S. Social Security Death Index, and that's about 80 years worth of deaths as they were reported by the Social Security Administration. So you'll see first name Channing, last name Colston, and his year of death, 1991. Again, you can include other information in other fields, but I'll just limit it to those 3 items. If you were interested in the Social Security Death Index, here is the search page, and again, you would fill in the fields as needed. And here are the results for Channing Colston under all birth, marriage, and death results. And the first 5 records are in fact my uncle. The first is the U.S. Find a Grave Index, which will hyperlink you to the Find a Grave site, which is included here in the Ancestry.com database. And here's the entry for Find a Grave. If you click onto the green arrow, that will hyperlink you to the Find a Grave site, and you'll see that my uncle is buried in the Glendale Cemetery in Bloomfield, New Jersey. If the person you're researching happens to be a veteran, you'll be able to find wonderful, rich information about that person's life through military records. Again, this will search all military records, but you can narrow by category if you're interested in perhaps photos, draft or enlistments, or their pension records. And here are the results for Channing Colston. And the first three records are, in fact, my uncle. And we'll have a look at the second, which is U.S. World War II draft cards, young men, 1940 through 1947. And here's a little bit more detail about my uncle's draft card. Again, has his name, his age, that birth date is correct, birthplace of Montclair. At that time, he was a student at Virginia State College, and even gives a little bit of a physical description about him. It also lists next of kin. This is also a wonderful feature because then you can then search this next of kin if you want to continue searching about this family. This is the image of the draft card, and it has his age, again, date of birth, name of the person who will always know your address, and again, that's his Uncle Francis. And it indicates he was a student at Virginia State College in Chesterfield County in Virginia. And another nice feature, it has his signature at the bottom where it says registrant's signature. The next collection of documents is under immigration and travel. Since time began, people have been moving around from place to place, voluntarily and also involuntarily. And maritime records are some of the best kept records that we can refer to. I don't know of any relatives who have immigrated in this way, but I do have a line of family who are from Germany, and their last name is Bochnecht, and the anglicized version of that is Balknight. So I'm just using them as an example here. I don't know of any first names, so last name I indicated Balknecht, and lived in Germany. So my search indicates something here about a young man named Kurt Balknecht. He was 24, married, lived in Germany, and made his way eventually to Melbourne, Australia, and you'll see that under arrival place, Melbourne, Australia. And here is the card containing more travel information about young Mr. Balknecht, and he is there on line 18, and it indicates that he was a baker. So that you can be more efficient with your research, the card catalog includes a searchable listing of all their record collections. I mentioned before that I have family in South Carolina, last name Balknight, and from time to time I visit the card catalog, enter two words, South Carolina, to see what records have been updated or what records might be new in the various databases. You'll see in the right-hand corner under activity a light green box that says new. So recently, Ancestry added two record collections that pertain to South Carolina. There's a good chance that other people are researching the same family names as you are. In that case, you might find some success under message boards. In the message boards, you can type a name or keyword and then click search, and that will yield other messages from people who are searching what you are searching. I put in Balknight, and looks like there are 10 entries under Balknight. You can also include place names as well. If you have a more common surname such as Smith, Brown, or Williams, I might suggest that you use advanced search to add more to the search field, perhaps including a place name or a date range. Ancestry has included a lot of helpful articles under research aids. A lot of articles under Getting Started, more about the census. If you're moving on to more intermediate or advanced searches, you might want to go beyond the basics. More about immigration and travel. The green gives you much more information about military records. And if you're searching within a certain ethnic group, there are articles under ethnic if you're interested in finding your Swedish ancestors or African American family research. It's always good to become familiar with the geographic area where your family lived. Over time, place names change, boundary lines change, counties merge, counties split, and this is always helpful to know when you're looking for records about your ancestors. Ancestry includes maps, and you can click onto a state postal code and find out more, but this is not everything. It's just a little introduction about that particular state. It's always good to be as organized as possible when you're doing genealogical research. Ancestry has some suggested charts and forms that may be of interest. Here is an ancestral chart, and you start with one person and you build it out with mother, father, grandparents, and it continues through the generations. And we thank you for joining us today for this introduction to Ancestry.com Library Edition. If you have additional questions, feel free to call reference 973-733-7779. You can send them an email, reference@npr.org, and they also accept text messages 201-563-1034. Again, we appreciate your time and thank you for your support of the Newark Public Library.